We got to develop well. You know, this team, it's our job to meet them. We got a lot of guys that got a long way to go. You know, last year's team, you know, I could walk out of my office and walk right next door and meet them right there. That's where they were, you know, with that team, right out of the gate. This team, you know, I got to walk out of my office and I got to walk all the way to the indoor facility. You know, we got to meet them where they are. And so there's a different gap from a coaching and a teaching standpoint. So we've got to do an unbelievable job as a staff in getting this group together. You know, the challenge is the same. You know, you've got to have that change and that character. But this team, I think the biggest thing is, can we develop the chemistry? You know, that's kind of the next part of it. And camp and this phase is really kind of where all that comes together. So, you know, because there's a lot of, we had 29 signees that came in here and you know, 10 or 11 new walk-ons. So there's a bunch of new people that are just getting here. So we've taken a lot of time the last couple days in really being thorough and detailed and articulating our program and who we are. And we didn't talk anything about football. Today's the first day where we're actually getting to football. But it just felt like it was very important that we kind of set the tone. And so it's been good, and you know, excited to get out there and start the process.
But what aspect of the game do you think takes the longest to come back for players during fall camp?
Just the, you know, you're putting the pads on for the first time. You hadn't had any pads on since spring, you know, because we don't get to have the OTAs or whatever. So, you know, it's a longer gap since you've put your, you know, some of those guys will put them on and go out there and do some stuff in the summertime, but nobody's banging on each other. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just kind of working through the soreness and kind of getting your callousness built back up into your body, because you really hadn't had any collisions since the spring. That's the biggest thing. From a mental standpoint, they really should be the furthest ahead that they've been all year. Because when we start over in January, you know, it's quality control, it's self-evaluation, it's learning from your season, it's all applying all the lessons from that, and then you're going through all your installation all over again for spring, and then it's post-spring, and then you go through all the installation again in the summer, and they're doing it at a slower pace on their own with film study. You know, but they have their skills and drills all tied together with it, and so from a mental standpoint, they should all be further along at this point from where they were when we started in the spring. So really the physical part, kind of getting that part caught back up.
Yeah, but with the weigh-in, were there any guys you were really happy with where they came in, or any guys that you were also disappointed with?
Man, I was happy with the team, to be honest with you. I really wasn't disappointed with anybody, but really happy. Our team is lean. We're strong. I really liked how we trained this summer. I thought Joey and the guys did an awesome job, kind of had a really good plan for this team. Again, every team is different, and we had to kind of, same thing, they had to kind of go meet this team where they were with 80 freshmen and sophomores out of 120, and train them a certain way this summer. And I thought it was great, but I think the guys bought in, they worked hard, and especially the last couple weeks, you could just kind of see them taking another step, and just, you can even hear it. So I'm excited to kind of get out there and take this next step with them. But, you know, we had a bunch of guys that looked great. I mean, Jackson Carmen put the work in. I mean, he's never going to be a skinny dude, but, you know, he looks a lot better than 360. That's for sure. And it's not just his weight. And that's where sometimes, you know, people look at the weight and they go, it's composition of the weight. You know, we want a good composition. That's what we're after. And, you know, some guys need to lean up. Some guys can hold more and still have a good composition. But I really felt like our team has put the work into this point, and we're in a good spot. And it's fun, too, to see guys like T. Higgins. I mean, T was 178 pounds when he got here, coming out of high school. And I think he was 217 maybe. I'd go check that, but 215, 217. And that's an amazing amount of work that's been put in. That's one of the reasons we do that, because it's like you see like Sheridan Jones. Sheridan got here in January, 160 pounds, and he's like 180 something. And he's put on 20 something. But that just shows you the work and the buy-in, the nutrition, and we have a program that works for those guys if they will really follow what Joey's asked them to do and eat right, hydrate properly, get the proper sleep, and understand and buy into what you have to do to build your body the proper way. And so I was really excited about a lot of those guys. I mean, just, Sean Pollard, he's playing center, so he dropped a little weight. He leaned up his composition. He's one of those guys that he can be from 300 to 325 with, 2 or 3 meals. And, some guys are just that way, but he's really in a good place. So I just think our team is, Niles looks great. He has really worked hard. He's had his best summer ever. He's done a great job with his body and his composition. Jordan, same thing. I'm excited to see them out there. Obviously, they weren't out there this spring, so can't wait to get out there with them today. And but all those guys, man, those receivers look great. Running backs, I thought, looked great. Trevor was 220. He fought for that 20. Because it wasn't quite settled in. They were about to say 219, and then it kind of clicked 220. So he was really, really happy about that. And I thought J.C. Chalk, he's another guy that I think got serious this summer. He's really accepted the challenge, and he was in that 258 range. And he was one of those guys that needed to kind of change his composition a little bit, and he did that. He's gotten strong. So I'm excited about where we are. I think we're in shape. We're fixing to get out there and challenge him a little bit.
Coach, with Kyler gone, does that just mean the snaps for DK and wide receiver will be even fewer, and how much of an opportunity does that open the door for the young guys like Sheridan Jones?
Yeah, we'll probably start that way as far as really just kind of get him to build a great foundation there at corner, and it might be something that we kind of work on a package or something later on, but right now we just want to get a good installation. He didn't we just kind of threw him over there. It's not like he was in meetings or anything literally threw him over there in practice. So he needs to really get a good solid foundation. We know what he can do with the ball in his hands, but we're blessed and fortunate that we got some really good guys at receiver that we feel great about. So but somewhere down the line, hopefully we'll maybe have a little package. Obviously, he's played quarterback, and package we worked on all last year, and it might be something that we dabble with later on when we get deep into our install and stuff like that. But we want him to get off to a good start. And opportunities there for Sheridan, and Mario's another guy that I think has really gotten it together this summer. He has really worked his butt off. His body's in a great spot. That kid can play. It's just a matter of him mentally taking that next step and making up his mind. And I really see the right look in his eye. And then Andrew just got here, so we'll see where all them guys are. But we got a good group.
Coach, what will be the signs that you start to see some of the chemistry forming that you mentioned there in these early days of camp? Some of the traits exhibited by some of your best teams. What will you look out for to point out that this group really has it like that?
Yeah, well, that's one of those things that's probably hard to define, but you know it when you see it, and you know it when you don't. Like I say, this is my 30th team in college football, and you can just smell it. So when that time comes, what specifically happens, I don't really know. I just know it when I see it.
Coach, what's the expectations for a guy like Greg Williams, in-state guy coming in? In fact, what are you looking at him as far as making an impact on the defensive line that you guys lost a lot of talent? Of course, you guys are reloaded with your recruiting class and things of that nature. What are you asking for guys like Greg Williams?
Yeah, I'm not asking anything. I'm just asking them to come in here and go to work, plug in, buy in, get in line, pay attention, and bring great attitude, great energy every day, and work every day to be the best that they can be and get better. Try to get better each day. That's all I'm asking. He's here because we think he's a great football player, and these guys all these freshmen just getting here. None of them are great college players. We'll see. You know, we've had a chance to see a few from the spring and evaluate, but we've got several guys that came in here this summer that we haven't been on the field with one day. I don't put any expectations on any of those guys. If they prove something and they earn something and they demonstrate that hey, mentally, physically, you know, maturity, all that stuff, that they're ready, then hey, they'll be ready to play, because they're certainly going to get the opportunity, because we're going to give everybody the opportunity to go compete. But what I guess my one expectation is that you know, he develop into a great player and a great young man, because that's what we brought him here to do, and that's what he came here to do, and he's got all the potential in the world.
Gabo, with Christian and Dexter gone, are defensive guys knocking on your door about the jumbo package, or is that?
Hell yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
something
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not going to see very much?
Oh no, they all line up for that. So I don't know. I got a few thoughts. You know, that kind of became my own little package. It was my little baby last year, and I had a lot of fun with that. But I gotta evaluate. You know, I got a few ideas. So we'll see.
With Jordan and Niles, just where are they mentally and physically, and
They're
how do you
they're
feel
in
about them?
they're in a great spot. They really have worked very, very hard. You know, obviously we had a good plan for them in the spring, and what I'm they've put the great work in themselves, and they're physically in a good place. But what I'm most proud of is they've tried to lead. You know, they've been led since they've been here, and I think really